All right, let's get on with some fun stuff, which is this bozo Ian, who I actually feel bad for, honestly, now. I genuinely do.
Hey, dunking on him feels a little wrong after that clip we watched earlier.
Oh, God, it's like kicking someone when they're down. But anyway, here's where we left off. So let's pull it up. There's some great moments coming up.
So, yes, anyone who's seeing that content might be concerned enough to call CPS, including Ethan's own chat, which, by the way, is not...
Okay, never mind. F this guy. I'm back. Fuck you, dumbass loser.
Not a measly number. It's about 26,000 at the time of this stream. So there are 26,000 people listening to Ethan go into great detail over 7 or 8 minutes about diarrhea, viscosity of diarrhea, his child having giardia, him and his whole family having giardia. They're calling it the poop house. Now what Ethan does...
The dreaded poop house.
They're all calling it that.
The people, they're calling it the poop house. Everybody's calling it the poop house.
The Klein house is not a place to be.
Instead of taking any responsibility for sharing too much on his live stream, is that he decides to attack specific creators like IDubbbz and say she was the source of the CPS call because her...
Bro, there's no denying that. Let's see. I'm sure he'll show a fair assessment of what IDubbbz was saying 3 days before.
Chat was reacting to Ethan and saying, wow, this is concerning.
Is on her platform right now advocating for our children to be... Ethan is attempting to smear IDubbbz, who did not condone the call. What does that have to do with anything? Forcibly removed from us by Child Protective Services.
The problem with this CPS thing is that Ethan has proven to be a manipulative piece of shit. So when he calls on me to defend him...
You got me.
What the fuck am I meant to do? I don't trust you, and I'm glad I didn't trust you, because in your video defending yourself, you used a video that takes context from...
Guys, get ready to have your mind blown. Okay. This is the dumbest thing I've ever seen in any video ever. Get ready.
Like 3 different places and combines them to make it seem like someone is coordinating an attack on you.
Love made a good point. You said, is this every comment? I believe this is a live feed of the chat. This isn't edited.
What about the top right? I thought these were...
No, selected. It's this, I think when you full screen it... No, this is an edit. It's a cutout of the full chat. It's just enlarged there.
Oh, really?
Over the screen, yeah.
They're different.
Oh, so at first I made that mistake. I genuinely thought that.
You're a boomer.
But then, like soon afterwards,
yeah, I mean, we were arguing with you about it. Love corrected you.
Yeah, you were being a boomer, but I think it was very clear for most people watching that you were.
I think you were the only one that thought that.
Yeah.
Well, right, okay, maybe. But then her explanation is just like, oh yeah, that was only 50 messages over 5 minutes.
Right, this argument...
I'm like, that sounds horrible.
Right.
This is not what podcasting is.
This argument... yes,
Let me play it.
Those chat messages are not the entirety of the chat. That's correct. It's just some of the chat. I don't personally think that makes it much better.
Completely immaterial.
Right.
Considering how many there are. Okay.
Yeah.
It's not timed. It's not timed the same way.
But it sounds like based on this clip, you knew that it was bullshit, and you just went with it anyway.
So he's suggesting that the messages were fabricated or something. They were all very real, my friend. And she doesn't even deny that, you dipshit.
Uses this very deceptively edited video that is just like doing this smooth scroll to make it seem like that's all of IDubbbz's chat. But that's not what it is. And then when he's called out on it, he hides it. He moves his window over the real chat.
Also, this is not a joking matter, by the way. It can be very severe and deadly.
Hey, genius, where was we supposed to put the video? Over her fucking face or over the chat we're looking at?
Why'd you do that, Ethan?
Yeah, why'd you do that?
By the way,
why'd you do that, dude?
By the way, Ian knows I have a live switcher. He's done this show many times. How the fuck am I switching? That's not my job.
You must have sent a little message.
Nate it's such a stupid fucking point.
I'm shooting.
His claim is that I'm covering this window to obscure my shameless lie. And even if that's true, it's dumb as fuck because at certain points he shows that part is not even covered up, even as it is.
Small children. I mean, much like many other illnesses,
reading the chat, co-signing
it's very, very, very dangerous.
Now pay attention to her chat, bro. Look, you can see the chat already here. We put it in front of her face, and then we move it so you can see her face. The chat's here in your own fucking call out.
Housekeeper anymore.
If I was trying to hide it, I'd leave the window there the whole time.
Wait, it says example 2, Ethan covering the real chat. So is it about to move in a moment?
Yes.
See, he lost his extra housekeeper. So now the house is just like covered in dog shit.
Checkmate.
And he has kids, and his kids like.
Why does it have to be anyone?
Bro, are you actually not? Okay, Ian, you tell me, where's that? Where should we put that? Where should we have put that? Where would have been better? Holy shit, dude.
And his kids like.
You could argue that we should have just taken you off the screen entirely. That'd
be fine. If you have criticism for Nate, he's back over there.
I'm gonna have a talk with him after the show today.
Nate, you did great. You did nothing. You did nothing wrong at all. That was the correct place to put it. I mean, that window was very small and it was immaterial.
Take some fucking responsibility. It's just so bizarre that Ethan would expect Anise.
Now, you want to know what a dumb piece of shit he is? Either fully incompetent or fully malicious. But either way, fully a total dumbass. And that last clip he showed, he accuses me of covering up the chat to hide my shame that it's a fabrication. Let's go to 2 minutes. 2 minutes before this clip he played. Dude, and he's so mean to Denims.
And then there's the one thing I forgot we do need to mention is that the top right is the full chat, right?
Yeah. So just to make a correction,
okay.
This is the live chat.
Okay.
This is a highlight of all the CPS calls, which, by the way, is extraordinarily large amount. It's something like 50-something chats over the course of like 3 minutes. This is what happened when you pull clips from Snark. You look like a fucking idiot because these people are liars, malicious liars. This was 2 minutes before the clip you showed. 2. How'd you miss that one, bud? You couldn't be fucked to watch 2 minutes before? And that is basically your entire chat putting forth this notion of calling CPS unmoderated, unchecked, uncorrected. This is the behavior that Ian... I feel like we explained that pretty clear. I feel like people do this all the time too these days. Like, we try to disclose something as clear as possible, and then they're like, we don't need that part.
That's why we
need this disclosure.
I was about to say, that's why we got the new graphic.
Yeah. Just all of them at once.
Yeah. Just leave that on, Nate.
This is not out of context. Maybe there's more, something like, this is not the full context of the clip.
That's funny.
Right.
Just to get ahead of it.
There is the existence of time and space prior to and following this.
Correct.
This clip.
Correct.
When Denims herself already made a statement about it and said that she does not condone calling CPS.
So we're talking about CPS. 1, I don't condone. 2, I've never condoned it.
This is just, he has the brain of a baby. I don't give a fuck if she condones it after the fact. The point is that she irresponsibly showed bad empanada saying that my kids were crawling around eating dog shit. Can we please be real for a second? Please. Begging you.
And you will not be able to find a clip of me saying, yes, we should do this, because it doesn't exist. I've literally...
Yeah, I never accused you of that. It's still your fault, in my opinion.
Part of my criticisms of Ethan initially was the openness. I think it's a problem that you are that open, Ethan.
I think you should mind your own fucking business about how I do my podcast. I mean, yours has like 3,000 views. Maybe if anyone, you know who's being too open? You, Mr. fucking poo-poo in your pants.
Horrible.
Mr. Make a diarrhea in your pants.
I mean, you would do the same.
Yeah, but I'm not embarrassed by it. Anissa humiliated this poor man. Don't make me pull it up again. This man has told me what podcasting is and how open to be emotionally with my audience. Any other pointers, podcasting master Ian? Well, you know I'm very open about everything. It's part of how I wanted to conduct myself and how I wanted to relate to the audience is to be open as possible about every fucking thing in my life.
It is not strictly a benefit to be as open as possible on your podcast.
It's...
You know what? That part's fair.
Listen, you can have your opinion about it, but this is how I decided to do the show. And I personally think that it's working. And I'm being genuine and I'm being myself, Ian. That is a foreign. I know that's a foreign concept to you. He's trying to find himself. He doesn't know who he is. As Hassan said, he looked in the mirror. He doesn't know. He doesn't recognize himself anymore. You know. But this is my decision. Dummy, loser, idiot, scumbag. He's putting everything in his mouth. He's at that age. He has giardia.
We were speculating.
Oh,
and now Hila has giardia.
Shut.
Be open as possible about every fucking thing in my life.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, sorry, I didn't realize people were going to invent some fucking psychotic fantasy and then it'd be spread by people like Denims to the point where CPS was called. You're right, I should have preempted that happening. Something that I wanted to read, there was a post by a parasitologist, a person who studies parasites.
Oh.
So this is their opinion on Ian's justification of calling CPS. I'm the head mod of parasitology. Dude, that's credentials. And our parasite.
Okay, I'm not gonna take anything away from this person, but I don't know if that counts as a credential.
Well,
being
how about
the
they have a
moderator of the
PhD in
subreddit.
biology?
Yeah, that sure.
And I have even named a parasite species. I feel like Ethan's giardia situation is being misrepresented. So first, the biology of the parasite. Little background on biology. Giardia is a protozoan parasite that is transmitted via fecal contamination. The main way people obtain this is by drinking contaminated water, which has the parasite stages swimming around, typically the water edge for a lake, which likely got contaminated from a wild animal with the parasite. It's very common in wild animals. It is very common in wild animals. Is it reasonable to think that Ethan's paternal duties were bad due to his children catching giardia? Which, by the way, nobody, again, for the record, only Olive had giardia. Everyone else was not having
False
giardia.
alarm.
But anyway, let's just, for the sake of Ian's video, assume everybody got giardia. Now, E's dog likely got it from a wild animal passing through their yard. Well, so he misses she was a puppy and came to us with this, but okay. It's fairly common. I know of people whose dogs have had giardia, and I'm in New Jersey. Now, once his dog had giardia, it probably made a mess both in the yard and probably had accidents in the house. She never pooped in the house or had an accident in the house. This is common under any circumstance. Unfortunately, he has young kids who put everything in their mouth. So this easily could have happened in the yard or in the house. A dog could have had some residual material on it that could have easily spread to a child, or child could have picked up a contaminated piece of grass, or the dog could have licked it in the mouth, etc. There's literally tons of options, and it's not really that hard to imagine. Lastly, giardia takes a few weeks to develop, 1 to 3 weeks. Oh, well, then if I knew that, then I would have
known it wasn't that.
Yeah.
Right.
Because it was like
shortly after,
a day or two after
you adopted the dog. Yeah.
When you're here, your family.
So his child could picked up the disease well before they realized their dog has something wrong. Other fecal oral parasite diseases that are super common in America. Fecal oral parasites are not indicative of an unsanitary household when children get infected. Children are just a little gross sometimes, putting everything in their mouths, and fecal oral disease in children is fairly common. Was CPS called justified? Calling CPS on this is a disgusting act and not warranted. Feel free to criticize, but for whatever. But to entertain that CPS call was justified, and to mess with someone's kids is totally not okay. Upon watching the most recent Ian video, I found that he defended this point, not super overtly, but he at least played it down and justified it a little. I found it wrong and gross. You can have beef with each other and acknowledge that messing with someone's kids and also wasting CPS resources on a pointless visit is a bad thing that should 100% be condemned. So too long didn't read. E isn't a bad father for giardia infections occurring in his house. This is a disease transmission makes a lot of sense due to the habits of children. And anyone who is agreeing with the CPS call is letting bias influence their opinion. And all parties should be able to agree that CPS call was super fucked up. I tried, and then another edit. I tried posting this on IDubbbz subreddit and got permanently banned.
Well, you tried.
But that's
okay. I mean,
that's kind of where I was coming from when I told the story. I'm like, there's a million different ways it could have happened. I mean, but okay. So let's call CPS.
Anybody who's being honest knows that that wasn't justifiable. Like all any of these people have to say is like, that was fucked up, and I shouldn't have pushed
There's
that narrative.
with these people, and Hassan, they cannot concede any ground for any reason.
Ethan acts like we're such great friends and that like he shared such intimate moments with me, but it's all horseshit. He's lying. Like the whole thing is a fucking lie. He's manipulating his audience. We did not have a close relationship.
I genuinely think this dude must have lost like all of his long-term memory. and his life restarted after the second creator clash. It's fucking stupid. We're each other's biggest collaborators. We made like dozens of videos together. Like, what the fuck? We're obviously friends. I mean, I don't understand the whole idea of trying to deny it. It's just weird.
If you let it play a little longer, he's making a point about not answering his text. Because when I was watching this at first, I was like, that's a bad point. But
all right, let's hear it.
I am not going to play it. Hey, dude, we should talk this out. And I was like, I don't feel like having this conversation right now. That's it. So Ian kept trying to get me on the phone or text with me. And I told him, dude, honestly, I don't feel like having this conversation right now.
Okay.
Fair, right? I just didn't want to do it. Okay?
Just in that particular moment, and then like at all?
Well, it turns out I didn't want to talk to him at all.
Okay.
If the relationship was that close, you would have talked to me on the phone.
Nah, it was dead. You had chosen your side. This was after CPS came, and like I said, bro, shit changed that minute that happened. And guess what? I was right, because you literally just said the CPS call was warranted. So how the fuck am I wrong for assuming that you're a giant dickhead? And I didn't want to get on a phone call and litigate Israel-Palestine with you, or whatever fucking dumb shit you wanted to talk about. So no, I don't want to talk to you. And I considered our friendship over by that point, so.
You might have thought we were just saying that Ian and Anissa are bad friends. Well, guess what? We didn't take it that way.
Okay, take it however you want, dumbass. It's like, fuck everybody, and I don't want to hear any excuses. By the way, that was me saying, now that CPS has been called, I don't care about anything, and I don't want to hear any excuses. Sound like an excuse to me, sir. Friend, and you never were, and you never will be. You never will be.
What we took it as is Ethan and Neil are shit-talking us. They just implied that we are okay with people using CPS as harassment.
You just said it was.
You said it was justified, though, in this video.
Fuck, man.
I don't.
Dude.
You absolutely could make that argument, but he just 10 minutes ago was explaining why it's totally understandable why people would call CPS.
Of course they called CPS.
Right. Yeah, no, you can't have it both ways on that one.
And now all of their fans are brigading us. So I am going to respond in kind and make a content cop. So yes, that is what the cycle of harassment looks like.
Okay, what does that have to do with me?
I don't know.
How about you fucking Nazis? How about that?
You might think that all of the harassment you're getting has everything to do with your politics and your idea of Israel-Palestine.
No, it has to do with you holding a sword with a swastika as the hilt, but okay, go ahead. It's about Israel-Palestine.
A lot of my gripes were centered around you dragging me into your shit. You know, you knew that you were going through a lot, and you were saying, I'm hurting, I'm now going to make them hurt because they're not putting their head on the chopping block.
I wasn't asking you to put your head on a chopping block. You were playing around with the people doing the rumor on Twitter, like buddy. And again, you proved that you agreed with them, which is what we suspected. So, you know.
Sure, there's anti-Semitic people that are attacking you guys, but they're not me. They're not Anissa.
I love him and Hassan. They always go this. Yeah, there's anti-Semitic people. There's a ton of it. It's everywhere. Not me, though. Okay. Let me tell you what's anti-Semitism. Please call into the show, Ian. I'd love to talk to you.
And he started to make that his employees' problems. Instead of just, sucking it up and taking it on himself, he decided to imply that Lena is going to have a problem with that.
A lot of this, is that shocking? He's like, I'm putting out this video calling out her boss, who's single-handedly promoting the fight, by the way. And, oh, wait, you had a problem with that? Oh, that put you in an uncomfortable position? Actually? This has ramifications for the crew. The way that they have it set up is basically, if Lena were to drop out, she would lose, she would have to pay back $25,000 or something insane. And besides that, which I told her I would cover if she wanted to drop out, she's been working really hard. And just because I'm having an issue with what's going on here,
you bringing up Lena dropping out of the fight was you publicly showing to your fans, I don't approve of this. You were saying this shit.
Bro, what the fuck you expect of me? You can't be surprised by that, can you? I mean, listen, I know you want to blame this all on me. You're the dipshit that put this video out, right before the fight happens. I mean, come on, bro. If you put this out after the fight, none of this shit would have happened. That's just logical. You're just an idiot, man. I don't know what to tell you.
Dipshit.
Of course I was going to be upset about it. Of course it was going to be weird for Lena. Are you dumb? Yes, the answer is.
I forgot to care about Lena.
Why would I do such a thing to Lena? Dude, you have as much agency as I do. You didn't have to badmouth me on your podcast. That was a choice that you made.
So go.
Okay. Well,
Okay, I mean, like, there's a little bit of a point there.
it is, but like, so when we were understandably upset and we went in on them pretty hard, I mean, personally, I felt like they could have let it slide and it would have been fine. We were understandably upset. The thing is, they really could have disarmed the situation immediately if they're just like, you know what, that I didn't appreciate being talked about that. Like, we don't support that at all. Whatever, something like that, you know. But they refuse to ever say they don't support it, or that they don't support the people that did it.
Right, and again, this is why my head is spinning a little bit with the arguments that he's making, because he did say it was justified in this video.
In this video.
Right, so
remember that?
Like, if he hadn't said that, I feel like his point would be much, much stronger here. But he did, so.
He got us.
Oh, the organizers of this event are not jumping to my defense? All right, well, maybe instead of shit-talking them, maybe I should zip it.
So go fuck yourself.
I agree. You already forced Lena into this horrible situation. His point is, you said something mean to me, so of course I went like completely nuclear on you, like right before the event when one of your employees was fighting. This presumption that he thought everything was going to be totally fine, that Lena wasn't in an awkward position or anything at all, is really something. It's really, really fantastical.
Also, for all the people who touch grass, I want to remind you to click the like button on this video.
For all of you that touch grass, I need you to hit the like button. What? These are not the people that touch grass aren't hitting like.
Not so it goes in your algorithm or anything, just specifically so that we can add a counter narrative, or I can get an idea of how much astroturfing is out there, because I know that a lot of these fuckers, they love their dislike button extensions. And I saw that shit and I was like, what the fuck? These are all like fabricated numbers. The like-dislike ratio was like 80-20 on my video, and then they tried to create a narrative of like, no, people actually hate this content cop, guys. It's actually so much worse. Like, bitch, like, people were more upset with like my wife being on OnlyFans. You're not gonna convince the internet that fucking Ethan Klein isn't being a piece of shit. Like,
well, what does it have to do with dislikes? Wait, you just said we're both pieces of shit. Anyway, so here's what's interesting. He shows the dislikes for, I guess the video was him defending Anissa doing sex work. And he shows the likes on it and the dislikes, and people matched it up, and it's like extremely accurate.
Match what up? What do you mean?
Towards the video, because it shows the amount of dislikes.
I'm confused why he's showing this. This is not the like ratio.
Show the like ratio of the goddamn video you're doing.
So what he has on screen right now is from an old video.
Yes.
Is what he said. Okay.
He goes,
so
look,
does he go on to show the one that's in dispute?
But why would he go on and on about how, oh no, but this video had less likes and you guys are just silly and the dislike? Just show the likes, bro. Just take a picture and show it and say, we're dumb, we're idiots, it's wrong.
Tweet it out. He doesn't after this? Like when you unpause?
Ian, tweet out, send us the photo. You can tweet it out still, it's not too late. I know you're watching.
Why wouldn't, I'm so confused.
I'll play it.
Why would you show a different video's like ratio when trying to disprove that?
I wonder if he's doing some kind of 4D chess. He's trying to bait us to say that.
Okay,
I'm not. I'm trying to figure it out. I'm trying to understand what relevance this
he's
has.
Showing us a different video's like ratio to prove that he's not lying about his current likes ratio, which he could just show us a screenshot of it instead of doing all this stuff. Just tweet it out, Ian. If you want to prove us wrong, just tweet it out.